It's some 27 minutes after 8. You're still on the AM show. Since the discovery and production of oil and gas started in Ghana's western region, the residents in some 6 coastal districts of the region have been complaining about the impacts of the industry on their daily life. So today we explore what has been done by the traditional authorities, government, the civil companies, and civil society, if you like, in mitigating the impacts on the people. And I am happy to say we're being joined by Mr. Matthew Ama, who is team leader, Western Region Coastal Foundation. Good morning to you, sir.
Good morning.
Let me also welcome Omaheni of the Lower Disk of Traditional Area, Nana Kwesi Ajimai, the 9th. Good morning.
Good morning.
Nana, thank you for being here.
Thank you.
So I probably would want to start with you, Nana. There's so many things that has come up with the discovery of oil in your area. Are there issues that have still not been settled in terms of complaints that are still coming in from your people? I know that you're not in all the 6 districts.
Yeah, thank you for giving me this opportunity this morning. Like you indicated, with the discovery, the people of Western region and Ghana in general had a lot of expectations. And you know, as an industry, it has its own attendant challenges. Even though efforts are being made to address some of them, but there are a lot more yet to be resolved.
There was this bigger issue of, oh, the Western region is not even enjoying what is being discovered on their own land. Is that story still the same, or things are changing?
Yeah, the story is the same, and it was unfortunate the people of this country did not understand Nananum's agitation that a certain percentage of the revenue should be allocated to the region for the region's development. You know, these were all in attempt to address some of the anticipated challenges that will arise from the discovery.
Okay.
Unfortunately, a lot of people do not understand us.
But have you backed down on that call?
No, not yet. Not yet. We are still on it, and we hope one day the people of this country are going to understand us and go with us.
So you're still standing by a certain percentage just for the region?
Yes, please.
So what's the percentage now?
No, it's still 10%.
10%?
Yes, it's on change.
Okay, just to the region?
Yes, just to the region.
Okay, all right. If you live in any of these coastal towns, you want to get interactive with us on this conversation, so send us a WhatsApp message and use that same WhatsApp number to send a regular SMS. But let me come to you, Mr. Matthew Ama, because you're with the Western Region Coastal Foundation, and I'm sure that this is this has been set up to address some of the concerns that's been raised by the people who live in these towns. First of all, can we recap some of the issues that have come to the foundation's attention?
Okay, thank you very much for this opportunity. I think let me reapproach this thing.
Okay.
With the onset of oil, like Nana said, there were a lot of expectations. Some were real, some were imagined, and there were a number of attempts to provide some solutions to these expectations. As new industries come into your area, you get an influx of persons coming in.
Yeah.
So being a very subsistence and agrarian society, you find all of a sudden people coming in and with earning powers that are higher than the local folks. And so this would naturally mean that local folks would say, okay, want some of the jobs. The skill sets to be able to get those jobs were a challenge. The fact that you had all of a sudden a lot more people coming into your area meant that the infrastructure that was originally inadequate was put under more pressure. The fact that you had people coming from different regions getting jobs that you thought you could get naturally gives a resentment. And so part of the reason was that can we find a solution? Can we begin to create a platform where we can have an organized discussion of the issues, put them into some organized way and try and find solutions, try and find people or persons or entities that are able to provide those solutions. You know that most corporate bodies have what they call corporate social responsibility accounts, or now that we call them corporate social investments, to make sure that, and most companies would naturally look at things that they think the communities want and go ahead and try and do them. But then you find out that the loudest voices get the highest attention. So you want, and that in itself can breed other problems. So far in Ghana, we've not had major problems, but I think that the foundation is trying to make sure that we have at least a formal way of dealing with these issues, a formal way of coming up with solutions that are locally informed, and to be able to tell people what we're doing, give them an update, and more importantly, have a robust monitoring and reporting system so that when people make investments and they talk about what they've achieved, there's a third party that is able to confirm or point out ways that we can get these things done.
Okay, so what's the makeup of the foundation? Are these people who come from within the region, or these are just people set up by bigger companies?
Okay, the foundation, the governance structure of the foundation is made up of oil and gas company representatives, is made up of the traditional leaders, is made up of the local government reps. So the regional coordinating council.
Okay.
So you have a very broad array of persons who are stakeholders in what happens in the region.
Okay. Can I just quickly just ask Nana if his people are satisfied with the makeup of even this foundation that is set up to address some of the issues that come up?
Oh yeah, I must confess that a lot of consultations were done with Nananom. So in fact, we helped in molding up the board, and we are fully represented on it.
Okay.
In fact, the board chairman is even a traditional ruler.
Okay, so I guess the ordinary people then also know the existence of this.
Yeah, they do, because we have another structure within the organization called the Citizens Advisory Council, where the foundation is able to engage some NGOs, which we call them conversation team. They go to the various communities within the districts, and try to get the concerns of the people.
Okay.
At the grassroots.
Okay.
And we have forum where all these concerns are compiled, corroborated, and brought in the various groups.
Right. So, Ms. Alma, back to the kind of issues that have come up, for the foundation to address, if you like.
Okay, so let me try and describe how the foundation operates, and then I'll get into the issues. We have, at our base, we have what we call the dialogue conversation, where we organize and go to, at the community level, at the household level. We have volunteers who talk at the household level, trying to find out what issues impact people at the household.
In the various communities.
In the various communities. These issues are sort of documented, and then we have a community conversation where you bring people in the various households to a particular location, and we say, these are the issues that when the volunteers who live among the communities came to you, this is what they found out. Can you, first of all, is this reflective of what the community wants? Can we prioritize these issues in trying to get the first 3 issues that really are of importance to the community? We do this for about 180 communities scattered around the...
180?
Yeah, about 181. The communities are chosen by their proximity to the oil and gas infrastructure, by their proximity to impacts of oil and gas. And so they form that basis, and all of this is put into our database, where we sort of try and cluster, aggregate, and so we're able to tell you on a community by community basis what are the 3 most important issues. On a area base, what are the 3 most important issues? On a district basis, what are the most important issues? So you find out that infrastructure comes up, lack of infrastructure.
Okay, so we're talking about hospitals or schools?
Hospitals, schools, economic markets, roads, you know, infrastructure becomes one. Then you talk about economic opportunities, lack of jobs, lack of livelihoods, environmental issues. Those also are clustered in terms of lack of maybe cooling systems, lack of or conflicts at sea, because fishermen have conflicts at sea. So all of these are kind of clustered. Then we present these issues on a community, on a district basis, to the district planning group, the district assembly group, because as they plan for their medium-term plans, this is information that can feed into that planning process.
Okay.
We also make this information available to some of the oil and gas industries, so that if you want to make investments in communities, you might want to choose these kinds of issues to address.
Okay.
Okay.
So can I understand? It's not like you're picking the issues to directly address them. You're distributing.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay.
We make some interventions to address some of them, and I'll pick a specific example. Livelihoods. I mean, fishing is a major issue now. So we said, okay, let us try and figure out how you can do fish farming technically well and commercially well, and show that to people who can support fish farmers. So we made an investment with 4 associations, had ponds, trying to get data, worked with the Fisheries Commission, and now next week we'll be presenting those results.
Okay.
Now those results can now be used by companies that want to support communities who want to go there. They'll know how much they need to support per each entity to work with. They'll also know what kind of returns will come. So in a sense, we're serving as a knowledge base to support communities. We're looking at, you're talking about local content. You want communities to be able to participate in the oil and gas, but more importantly, the broader industry.
Yeah.
Technical vocational education has been talked about a lot, but we don't seem to have the kind of traction that we're doing. There are a lot of interventions taking place, and so we're looking at the broad gamut and trying to understand, why are the investments not giving us synergy? What do we need to do? How do you bring the actors together and try and get a program going? Luckily, we've been able to get one going with KCAM Technical, with Takoradi Technical Institution, and with the Regional Maritime Institution, with support from the Ministry of Energy on the oil and gas capacity building project.
Okay.
They have investments on the ground, they have equipment in the schools. What we're bringing is teachers to teach the teachers so that they can train the
So is this ongoing? Is this something that has started?
This is started.
So can I ask Nana, with just the things that you've outlined, are the people feeling the impacts of this intervention?
Yeah, they are. Yeah, and I might say that if we are enjoying peace now at those 6 coastal districts, then it's as a result of some of these interventions that have been carried out.
Is that to say that people are not complaining any longer?
We are complaining. We are still complaining because our demands have not been fully met. And like any human organization, the more you have some resolved, the more others also crop up. So we still have a lot of them. But I think by their existence, they are also helping to minimize, most of these agitations, even though on a very gradual, and they just came in. So we are giving ourselves time.
How old is the foundation?
It's 2 years old.
Okay.
We started off as a DFID supported program, which then helped us to create the entity, the NGO itself, which will live on beyond the 5-year DFID program. And a key element of, you asked the question about, are people still complaining? When we collect this data, we bring the information. If there's a problem, we bring the information to the entities that have to provide a problem, and we give them a chance to respond. And so it goes from the community to the district to the area to the district, and then to the regional.
Okay.
And that's where the Citizen Advisory Council meeting holds But Nana is a president of the Citizen Advisory Council meeting. So there's that constant interaction, because what you don't want to happen, you want to ensure that you understand issues that are coming up and you proactively take actions to address them. Because if the issues are not addressed proactively and you are reacting, some of your results are not necessarily optimal.
But I also like the fact that you zeroed in on the specific areas. But my question is, it means that the oil and gas is not affecting the entire region in terms of any negative impact. So I wonder then, on what basis Nana Noma asking for a lot more for the entire region when there are specific interventions for the exact communities that are negatively affected.
Okay, can I?
Yes.
The fact that we are focusing on the specific highly impacted communities does not mean that we're not looking beyond those districts. I mean,
even as a foundation.
It's not as a foundation, because we think that, I mean, oil will be coming up in the Voltairean Basin. By the time that occurs, you must have a mechanism for dealing with those issues that will come up. And so we pride ourselves as being a pilot, looking at the 6 coastal districts, and not just the 6 coastal communities, and that as we understand some of the actions that need to be taken and how to address them, we can replicate it when the various issues occur. Now, let's say you got the districts along the coast impacted. The adjoining districts will also have issues. And so some of the learning, some of the data that we're picking up, some of the mechanisms for understanding and kind of developing solutions is then passed on to the district assemblies that are in the abutting community. So for us,
but you know the perception with government agencies. Sometimes we're reassured when we know private entities are taking care of our issues than government agencies.
Okay.
But that's just by the way. Okay. Yeah, Nana, you want to have a say on this?
Yes. I'm sure the impact is not only on the 6 coastal district, like Mr. Ama has just said. The issue is a regional, affair. And if we talk about Western region, if even you limit it only to the 6 coastal district, the adjoining district are also most of them are mining communities who are also facing some of these issues. And they started with the 6 coastal district because the oil find is offshore. But whatever it is, our brothers nearby are also going to have a lot of the effects, like the whole issues that the migrants have brought into our district. Some of them. They will definitely have impact.
Yeah, there's a package that my colleague Coco Usupapa put together for us, interacting with some of the people in some of these districts that we're talking about. I just want us to take a listen. We'll come back, and then I want to ask the question of shirt and tie office kind of job, because not everybody would want to do the things that you're providing in terms of the fishing and other things. People also want to work in these oil companies, as in work in an office. I wonder what's being done, but first, let's watch this.
Okay.
The exploration, development, and production of oil and gas in Ghana has significantly improved government's revenues. But the people in the 6 coastal districts of the Western region continue to face the effects of oil and gas production offshore.
The people within the coastal areas could not have a place to channel their grievances. What they have done, or what we're doing now, is the key factor is, those days, people had no place to channel their grievances. Where to go? Whom to see?
The Western Region Coastal Foundation is a locally managed NGO in Ghana that encourages an effective dialogue between oil, gas, and power companies, other extractive industry actors, local communities, and the government in the 6 coastal districts in the Western region. We identify and resolve issues facing communities leveraging corporate social responsibility funds, financial and in-kind contributions from stakeholders to address stability and socio-economic development concerns.
The mandate of this foundation is to create the platform for residents in these communities to articulate their concerns, and also for us to kind of fashion out solutions for these. And so our tagline really is about providing sustainable solutions which are locally informed.
The 6 coastal districts are Jomoro, Elembele, Enzima East, Ahanta West, Sekendita Krade Metropolis, and Shama. Since its inception, the WRCF, through its conversation managers, have visited thousands of households within the communities to gather the concerns of the residents.
All right. Let's continue with our conversation in studio, and I think maybe we can talk about the jobs.
Okay.
Yes. What is being done specifically if I don't want to, if I want to work in an office?
Okay. When you want to work in an office, what happens in an office?
I want to work with one of the oil companies.
Okay. Now, most of the oil companies are about technical skills. They're about drilling for oil, making sure its health is safe, making sure it's delivered to the point, making sure it is paid for. All these require skills. And so the first part becomes, what kind of qualifications do you have to be able to be given a chance to work in this place? And so at every point in time, it is the question of what are your skills, what are your qualifications,
What
and
are
do you
your experience?
what are your experiences? How can you bring value to this? The requirements for the oil and gas is pretty high. So they've spent some time trying to send some persons for training, for postgraduate training to be able to get into it. But oil and gas jobs are maybe very limited. So for us, the key point is what is happening in the rest of the economy as a result of oil and gas. Hotels are picking up in the area there because people have to stay. Food is going up. What do you call it? Health and safety training is required. And so the opportunities go beyond oil and gas. And it is for us, it is showing that these opportunities exist and helping communities and people to be prepared to work in those supporting places is where our focus is. And so the TVET like this is catering to the mining industry. It's catering in terms of welding. It's catering to other things that support oil and gas, because that's where the multiplicity of jobs exist.
Okay. So, Nana, I asked the question because I want to believe that there are people in the community who ask the same question.
That is where I want to jump in. That is where the problem starts. Yes, we agree that the oil find is offshore and that it needs some special training before you can go and work there. You know, a whole lot of, you have to get some knowledge before you can do some of these specialist jobs. But all that the people of Western Region are saying is that can't the people also be trained to take over some of these jobs? Because we can't sit at the place to see all the jobs being taken by people from outside the region. And that has been the agitation. These are some of the major concerns of the people of the area. And that is where Nananom are having our difficulties, our problems. Sometimes our people are feeling that we are not talking enough. You are sitting there and people are coming, and you as a community leader who should ensure that the girls some of these jobs are not doing. Again, sometimes where even the problem comes is when a driver who is supposed to drive some of these trucks is taken from Accra or from other places and brought to the place. The people begin, but we have also got some qualified drivers in the community. So these are some of the problems that we have to manage and manage it well. Otherwise, the consequences will not be pleasant.
But do you see the foundation as an effective means of carrying your concerns.
Exactly.
Okay.
Because the foundation gives us the opportunity to invite some of these management personnel from these organizations for us to be able to have the opportunity to query them over some of these actions of theirs.
Okay. Before we wrap up, what's the way forward? What's the bigger picture? What's up next after 2 years of the existence of the foundation?
Okay, I think that what's up next is making sure that all the stakeholders are talking from the same platform, so that we can get what I call synergies from their individual actions. Because everybody has good intentions, but sometimes if you work in silos, then you cannot benefit from the total investments that you make. And so when you have a governance system where everybody is coming up and speaking their minds and finding solutions collectively, then we can have those solutions that will be sustainable.
Okay.
And then we can move on.
Yeah,
Right.
and from the traditional point of view, we are also saying that as a very good corporate entity, you should not always think about the profits. You should also think about the people in areas where the jobs are being done, where you are making your money. So at these platforms, at these meetings, we are also sounding some of these warnings to some of these corporate organizations.
Okay.
That they should not always think about money. You should also think about the people in the areas they are working for.
Okay. I kind of like the synergy that's going on. Thank you very much for your time. Thank you, Nana, for making time to be here this morning for this conversation. Mr. Matthew Ama is team leader with Western Region Coastal Foundation, and also the Omahini of the Lower Diskov Traditional Area, Nana Kwesi Agyeman the 9th, joining us for this conversation.